You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 19th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for April 19th. Can you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford.
Here.
Mr. Freed.
Here.
Mr. Glidden.
Here.
Mrs. Sperling. Here.
And the minutes from our April 5th meeting were prepared in advance and presented. Unless there are any corrections, additions, comments, do we have a motion to approve?
I have a comment. So I read at the near the end, well, not at the end, the end of the second page that the zoo admission was voted on again. So I didn't know that because I had asked about that agenda because I missed last meeting, and it was, I think you had said it was just on there in case something came up, but I didn't know that that was being voted on again. I thought we were all settled with that.
What we tried to do is, what we did, I believe, is correct. There was an imbalance between the Michigan City rate and the rate for all students. One was 5, one was 6. So children in Michigan City were 5.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than try to refund everyone and figure out if they're Michigan City residents or not, not Michigan City residents,
Mm-hmm.
we thought it would streamline
Mm-hmm.
to move the Michigan City children to 6 and get rid of that imbalance in pricing.
Okay. Because when there's groups, there's $6.
Correct.
So then if there's children, you're saying that would have caused.
They would have canceled their group outing potentially
Mhm.
and gone to the Michigan City rate, or canceled half of them because half were Michigan City and the group, half weren't. So then it was creating a potential administrative.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a nightmare, but administrative difficulty.
Right. I see. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments, or you have a motion to approve?
I would move we accept the minutes from April 5.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right. Any project updates tonight?
No, sir.
Old business. We have approval of special purchase zoo discovery building roof repair and another special purchase, and that's the North Point Pavilion glass panel replacement project. We'll need a motion to untable the 2 items.
I would move that we take the item
Excuse me, they're not table, they're old business.
old business.
Thank you for that clarification.
And if I could explain, the park board already approved these 2 emergency projects, but after discussing it with our attorney, we came up with a letter format that really addresses all the requirements of the state statute. So we'd like you to go back and approve these. We need to keep these on file for 5 years. And then in the future, all emergency or special purchases will come to you in this format, one document that covers everything.
Thank you, Shannon. And I believe the memo that was compiled clearly identifies and states, 1, why we had to do it, and 2, the law that allows us to do it. So unless there are questions or comments, I'm sure Laura could address any.
Do we have to take these separately because they're 2 different items?
I think we should, just for clarification purpose. It erases any doubt. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Phil, just want to make a comment about these. These came to the council before, and we wanted to do or tried to do all 3 readings in one night. We could not do that unless it was declared an emergency at the meeting. And it was not declared an emergency. So since we needed to have a formal public hearing. So we weren't able to pass those. And I thought they would have been put back on last night's meeting because this conversation has been going on for a while and they didn't make last night's meeting. So they're going to be up again on May 3rd. We're going to call it, and I'm going to make sure that we label this an emergency purchase so we can knock out all three at one time at the May 3rd meeting. But as far as what I've been hearing, everything is okay in terms of moving forward. So we'll be able to get this done. But I thought we would have had this taken care of last night, but for some reason, they were sent by the city controller and our city attorney, but they didn't make the agenda last night.
Thank you. Questions?
I guess I have a question. I don't know if this is the right time, but did we look into the warranty or guarantee of the original work of this
glass
yet?
Railing.
Of the,
Well, these two are not referring to the glass railing. Let's see. One is, okay, yes. I looked into the warranty for the glass railing and it's 1 year.
Mhm.
And that's what they typically warranty.
Right. And then also, Laura, I think you were going to look into to see if there was still some liability that.
Well, Ed spoke with the general contractor's office and that they acknowledged it was 7 years ago. So there wasn't a lot that they.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? All right, so this first one we should address is the approval special purchase for the Zoo Discovery Building roof repair. Unless there are any questions or comments, do we have a motion to accept or approve the special purchase and implementation of the special purchase policy?
I would make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, same for the next. Approval of the special purchase for the North Point Pavilion glass panel replacement project. Have a motion to approve?
Just, I guess a question for Ed, how you did that? Was the problem was they couldn't get the material? Or they have it and now they just need our okay to go ahead and do it?
Actually, the glass panels, the problem, how they broke or how they're being repaired.
No, do they have access to them? I mean,
Oh, yeah, the glass panels are in.
they just need us to approve the.
Correct.
Thank you.
It's, this is more basically a procedure that we took to expedite the project and not getting quotes.
I thought that's what. we
That's,
did, yeah.
and we approved the contracts, but just for clarification's sake, we wanted to make sure that we were abundantly clear that we were implementing the special purchase policy. And in order to do that, the policy or the project needs to hit certain, it needs to qualify, being an emergency and the dollar amount. So
And that's what this is.
that's what we're clarifying, that we made this contract and the purchase under the umbrella of this policy, the special purchase policy.
do you know how the warranty is on this one? The new company offhand? I don't know if you know offhand.
On the glass railing.
Yeah.
Oh,
offhand.
that's what I thought you meant is 1 year.
Oh, that was the old one, or that's the new?
No, that's the new one.
Oh.
I thought that's.
Oh, yeah. No, that's about that. Because we were talking about the old one, like if there was a better guarantee for it, just
No,
because
they
it had.
never gave me any information when I called. and
Yeah.
contacted General contract.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
Comments from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Make the move that we approve the special purchase for the North Point Pavilion glass panel replacement.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we're on table business. We have two items from our last meeting, both regarding the umpire in chief wages, one for youth baseball, one for adult softball. Do we have a motion to untable the two items?
I would move that we take off the table item A and B.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
As I recall, the packet was approved subject to an explanation of why the umpire in chief of youth baseball gets paid $5 per game, but the umpire in charge for adult softball gets paid $50 a week. And as you can see in your packet, I referred to our director, who's been the umpire in chief for many years and is now the director of youth baseball. And if you read the packet, I guess I can explain it a little bit. If you didn't, or if any public didn't, this has been the system of payment for quite a few years, I think back to 2013 and 14. And it simply was probably devised in this manner because there are so many softball games compared to baseball games that the umpire in chief would be paid far too much for softball if he was paid per game, and he wouldn't be paid quite enough if it were $50. Actually, that works out about the same at $50 a week or $5 a game. So if that is a good enough explanation, I recommend that we keep it the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Questions or comments?
Not about the cost. I just have a question, Ed, and I think it's great, about the use of golf cart to transport those who have difficulty walking that, because it could be a long distance from the far end to the field. Do they, or does whoever drives the cart, do they make periodic checks around there, or you have to ask them to go get some?
That is a position called the Patriot Park Supervisor. And as of now, to answer your question, yes, they do cruise around and look for people that need the ride. As of now, we cannot find anybody to apply for this position. So we're hoping that maintenance department increases their employment and we get more people in the seasonal division, but it's not looking good. We're just not having a lot of people knock on the door for the job.
Is there a special insurance that needs to be in place for transporting people, or can we just put them in a golf cart? In other words, if my mother was still alive, to go around a parked car, she would fall out.
That's a good question. I just discussed with our insurance carrier about golf carts through at the zoo, and there's no need for automobile liability, automobile insurance, but there is an insurance that the city has that covers any cart use as long as our employees are using it.
Thank you.
How many youth baseball games a week are there?
Well, in youth baseball, there would be 2 games per night, 4 nights per week. So you have an early game and a late game Monday through Thursday. So that would be 8 games.
How many softball games?
Softball games, Carrie put that on here. There's on Sunday they play 10 and a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, a 12 o'clock, a 1 o'clock, and a 2 o'clock, and sometimes 3 on 2 fields, he says. So there are quite a bit of softball games. I even think I read here that there are double headers periodically with softball. So that's probably why they capped it for the umpire in chief at $50 per week, because some of the games can really be piled up in one day and in 1 week.
Any other questions or comments? Did have a chance to talk to Mr. Kopinski and thank him for documenting, putting this all together, because it was very helpful to add clarity to the issue. Any questions from the public? Unless there's an objection, we can take both these together. Anyone object? Seeing none. Do we have a motion to approve the umpire in chief wages for youth baseball and adult softball?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to new business, we had approval of request for quotes for documents of the golf cart storage building repair project.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford. In your packet is a request for quotes that has been put together for your approval on the reshingling and refurbishing of some of the damaged roof panels or roof sheeting at the golf course. And I'm hoping you approve this request for quotes.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
So it's already been approved by city council to pay for it? Is that what that means?
Right.
Okay.
That's capital funding.
Mhm.
And how is this going to be advertised?
I'll be sending out packets to contractors, keeping track of which contractors I send them to.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the request for quotes for documents for the golf cart storage building?
I would move then that we approve the request for quotes to bidders for the golf cart storage building roof.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have the 2023 June 19th major event license agreement.
Oh, yes, this is our standard form of agreement. This is a first time event at the amphitheater. We have had Juneteenth celebrations in the past at Pullman Park, but this is a different group. And Denise Shipglen is here tonight. She's the president of the Michigan City Black Business Association. Do you have any questions? But again, this is a 2-day community event at the amphitheater on Sunday, June 18th and Monday, June 19th to celebrate Juneteenth. And Denise, if you want to get up and speak, I know there's going to be like a dad's barbecue cook-off, which we've had down in the park in previous years. And I think community vendors, games for the kids, entertainment. If you have any questions, Ms. Shipglen is here to answer that.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
Questions or comments?
What is the form of entertainment that is going to be included?
If you could come to the microphone, please, that way anyone watching on the Alco TV can hear you.
I'm sorry?
Please come to the microphone, that way anyone watching on Alco TV will be able to hear you. And welcome.
Hi, Denise.
And please state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Denise Shipglen. I'm the president of Michigan City Black Business Association. The entertainment that we're having is going to be all family oriented. We're actually going to do a dunk tank. And I was told that somebody from here wanted to be in it. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to have a volunteer.
Fine.
And we're also looking for judges. We're having a Dads Who Cook grill off. So if anyone likes to eat barbecue, we're looking for judges. So it's just going to be a fun 2 days.
Cool.
The entertainment is going to be mixed. There's going to be gospel. There's going to be some jazz. We have a sax player who's going to be there. So it's just going to be a good time.
Cool.
Good food, good music.
How does it differ from your previous events?
How is it different?
I know the location's different.
The location's different. We're including the NAACP. We're including the ministers. The leaders of Michigan City are going to be present. We're having a hair show. We're having a fashion show. It's a little bit bigger than what we've done before. That's why it's a 2-day event.
Thank you.
And the Dad's Cook Grill Off is something that we haven't done.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yes.
How do we know like when everything is going to be? Do you have like an event schedule or is there a place, a website to find that?
We will as soon as we get approval. We're just trying to go through the hoops to make sure that we don't want to plan too much and all of a sudden it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, let us know how to
I will.
look that up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll be on the radio and let everyone know about it.
Mhm. Cool.
Any questions?
Just real quick, Denise, is it going to be open public or tickets? Are you going to have tickets for?
Everything's going to be free.
Everything's going to be free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As long as we get sponsors, and that's
Right,
what we're
right.
working on right now.
All right.
It's open to the entire Michigan City. Mhm.
Any questions from the public? Any other questions or comments? If not, we have a motion to approve the June 19th major event license agreement.
Juneteenth.
I'm sorry, Juneteenth.
Thank you.
I would move that we approve the 2023 June 19th celebration. of
Juneteenth.
dates.
Juneteenth,
What did I say?
June 19th.
Oh, June 19th. On the 19th, 18th of June.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Now we have the 2023 Brew at the Zoo major event license agreement.
Thank you. And again, this is just our major event agreement template. The event will be held on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023 at the zoo. The event times are from 5 to 8 p.m. And this is a return event. I want to say they've got to be close to like 9 years. I know they didn't do it the last couple of years during COVID. And just a couple of things that the Zoo Society president brought up. They are requesting use of 10 tables and chairs that we do have available. They would like to park a refrigerator truck in lot 2 on Friday night and keep it overnight to keep their beer and ice in and supplies. Just to make it convenient for setup. The zoo is open that Saturday, so it'll be a big switch of, closing the zoo down and then setting the event up. And use of our golf carts. We've arranged through the zoo director to have 2 staff members that can take the society around. So it will be our staff driving the carts. And those were their additional requests to the event. And it's a great event, so I would recommend you approve it and get your tickets.
What time is it at?
5 to 8.
Oh, 5 to 8. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Right, seeing none, we have a motion to approve the 2023 Brew at the Zoo major event license agreement.
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We wish them well.
Yes.
When they do well, we do well. It's a good partnership. Next up is the 2023 Michigan City Food Truck Festival major event agreement.
Again, this is our standard template. The request is to hold the food truck festival Memorial Day weekend, which is Saturday, May 27th and Sunday, May 28th. This is a 4th-year event. They started in 2019, but it was canceled in 2021 due to COVID. Again, we've had no issues. This is a great event. They always have good entertainment, and it's just great to see everybody down in Fetters Alley enjoying themselves. They have a great variety of food trucks that they bring in. So I would also recommend approval.
Thank you, Shannon.
Welcome.
Questions or comments from the board?
I know that this was last year. He did this last year, right?
We did not have it. Oh,
Yes, did you?
yes, we did last year.
Yeah.
2021.
So, and I actually went down to this. There's no entertainment with it, right? It's just,
There has been in the past. Don't believe I went to it last year. Yeah, I think I did. I think they just had music playing.
yeah, like a
DJ.
DJ. Oh, yeah, maybe that was it. Okay. Okay. But they don't have games and stuff like that. It's just food and drinks, right?
And plus they've had like cornhole games they put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of organized stuff going on. It's mainly
Yeah.
just a beer
Food.
garden.
Right. Okay.
Food truck.
And what time does it start? Is it during the
They
day?
don't have this schedule yet. It is during the day.
Okay.
Typically, I want to say they opened at 11 and it was over by like 6.
Okay.
It's over before dark.
There's not a map in this packet. Is it on Fetters Alley or?
Yeah, it'll be in Fetters Alley, the truck parks along South Drive. So, just for the newer Park Board members, there's a checklist included in the major event license agreement. And those items aren't due until 30 days prior to their event. So that's why your packets aren't complete when you first approve them. Thank you. You're welcome.
On that note, with that checklist, I totally forgot to ask when we were on this with Denise's Juneteenth day. There's a couple of on the checklist that say NA, NA, NA. Is that just not as of not yet? Or it's not. So there's going to be no alcohol there?
No.
Okay. And then the fire protection plan, that's.
So fire protection plan is for ticketed events.
Mhm. Oh,
So when people fence in the areas, our fire marshal needs to inspect that.
Got
to
it.
Make sure there's emergency ingress and egress.
mhm,
The 12-foot fire lanes are staying open.
Mhm.
Or, like in the case of the food truck fest, it's not fenced in, but they have propane tanks on the truck.
Mm,
So that
mhm.
triggers the
mhm.
fire marshal.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Reach it out to them.
Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, have a motion to approve the Michigan City 2023 Police Truck Festival Major Events License.
I would move to accept this nature license event.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other new business that we need to attend to tonight? All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
This evening, I would like to report on admin in the park department and youth baseball, Patriot Park fencing project, North Point Pavilion glass rail, and the Coastal Awareness Month, and security at Washington Park. As far as admin is concerned, I mentioned in a superintendent's report several weeks ago that we lost Eric to the events department, and we have now filled that slot. And we'd like to welcome Kayla Shabloski, who scored very high in her interview. And I've checked in on her a few times and noticed that she is very organized. And I think she's going to fill the big shoes of Eric Williams. So welcome, Kayla. As far as youth baseball, I can give you some quick rundown of some numbers. Last year, we did have in 2022, 286 participants. This year, we have 240. That might be a little bit lower. That's 46 persons lower than last year. But per our director, he wanted to stop the registrations at 96 participants in T-ball. However, the other age groups are very equal. As far as team sponsorships, last year we had team sponsorships worth $8,750, and this year we've increased that $1,400 to $10,150. So I think it's going to be a very good year. I've got a very good response from the parents as far as Mr. Krasinski running this program. Fencing at Patriot Park, field by field, I can give you a report. Swenson Field, the poles have been reset, the fence posts. There are some bad spots in the fences that have been removed. We're waiting on new fence material to be woven in. So all of the fence is not being replaced, only the bad parts. And we hope to have Swenson Field up and running this weekend. Banwart and Doyle Field. Doyle Field is the one with the dangerous backstop. They're working on that. The home run fencing has been dropped. They're resetting and replacing the fence posts, and that started today. We will be using these fields this weekend. The dangerous parts of the fence have been taken down. This will not be an issue, as it we'll be using a short fence to shrink the fields for the younger players. No one will be near the permanent fencing. The completion of Banwart and Doyle should be next week, as well as Karstens and Laraco fields, weather depending. So that project is going quite rapidly. They have a large crew and they're a very good company. And Mr. Volz has been monitoring the construction or the application of the fence posts, making sure they're going down below the frost line this time. The glass railing update at North Point Pavilion. The contractor is waiting for the cladding. That is the decorative shoe covering at the bottom where the window is structurally secured. He's waiting for the cladding tape and the roll and the vinyl. And those are some parts that are used at the bottom of the glass panel that supports it. The contractor ordered that stuff, that material Friday, and it has not been shipped yet. Their fastening system has been down since Monday morning, but they're hoping to come back tomorrow, and they're waiting on the material to see what the weather is like. I would like to report that this is a month of the celebration of coastal awareness, and I found this on my email sent from the sanitation department that a ship called the W.G. Jackson, a very interesting ship, will be moored in our basin in June 10th. It's the interesting thing is that it's a great opportunity for children, parents, and grandparents, because each trip will last about an hour. People can get on the ship, take a trip, and it includes sampling and testing of Lake Michigan water and the bottom, utilizing fully equipped laboratory onboard systems. And the reason I found this interesting is because there are probably a lot of kids that don't play baseball, and they're more scientific. And I think this would be a very good activity for the families to take part in. So if you have any questions, call the sanitary district to reserve your spot. Security at Washington Park. I'm getting a lot of feedback from the public on how we can beef up the security at Washington Park. I'm bringing this up tonight, asking the board, since I think this board is so brilliant, and our liaison, Mr. Dabney, if you would please email me with some of your suggestions. I know in past years, we reacted to some bad times in Washington Park in the evenings, reports from the boaters, and the solution was to close down the park early. And that does create a problem for the public. Public does need to enjoy the park until it closes. We have fishermen that like to enter the park, and we have Sunset Grill that we would like to keep open. So I'm urging the park board to email me with some suggestions that I can act on to help the police secure Washington Park. As you all know, in the past, we've had certain policemen that were specialized just for Washington Park. And if this might be the answer, then I can start moving in that direction. Thank you. And there was one item of vandalism, and that was at Singing Sands Trail West at the Amtrak crossing. There was graffiti, and it has been removed by the park department. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ed. Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I have a redundant question because I can't remember it. Well, how long is the enrollment open? The reason I ask for baseball, perhaps when school is almost out, some kids might change their mind for their summer activities.
Well, Phil, actually, the registration has ended already.
Okay.
We have a problem with uniforms versus kids that come in later. So I was asked to be streamlining the process by sticking with the end date and making sure that I don't add on after that.
Okay. And my second, my second of three questions. How are they going? What are they going to do to the backstop on Doyle Field to make it safer?
Well, that's going to be exchanged with a new pole and setting it into the ground deeper. And I think that was the problem before, that the cement or the concrete was not installed deep enough.
Well, having been a catcher, I'm just a little concerned about that.
Yeah, that's right.
And my last question or comment, I guess, not a question. I received numerous phone calls from out of town and in town people about the safety at Washington Park after that episode we had with the shooting in there. I didn't have an answer for them. So it is out there and people are concerned. I'm concerned. And some of the people from out of town, friends that usually come here, are a little leery about coming.
It is very difficult to come up with a solution. I agree. The police are doing what they can. We have to realize that it is part of a district. It's not its own district, so they can only cover so much ground, but they do fill their slots and have all their policemen working nightly. But it is not one district by itself. So we might have to come up with some solution, maybe forming our own security, like Michigan City did in the past. The park department had security just for Washington Park.
I know last year we had a function, we being our old people in our class, and we had rented out the top of North Point. And at about 10:15, we had to start clearing out because they were closing, which was all right. We were all ready for bed anyway. But I do know that it worked last year, at least on one day.
Closing early,
Yeah.
it is one of the solutions, but it's difficult because we do have fishermen that come from all around the region, and we do have Sunset Grill.
Yeah, that's where we were at the.
Yeah. I would like to mention one more item, and that's in the administrative end of the park department, that a young lady named Melissa Moore is doing a fantastic job. The transition between Eric and Kayla left her working on the youth baseball all by herself, with a little help from me, obviously. But Melissa Moore has been doing a fantastic job getting the uniforms situated and the players all on teams. So thank you, Melissa.
That's great. I have a comment back to the security. So you mentioned that before there was a plan in place for special Washington Park security. When and what was that?
Years ago, there were policemen that were stationed only at Washington Park, if anybody remembers that.
And was that a situation where they were paid outside of their police pay? It was done by the park, like you would hire a private security person for a party?
I could look into that. I don't know how they were compensated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be interesting. And then the other thing would be, I know Shannon, we've talked before about the whole parking fee structure, which some of those plans did include pictures of the license plate. Didn't they? Yeah. Or is there, and I know that's a very expensive option for us right now and for the city. But I can't remember, or do you know, was there a plan for even just doing license plate pictures?
We have license plate.
Oh, we do? Like it takes a picture of every car? Or how does that work?
Take a picture, it's filmed, but then you can freeze frame it. So yes.
Okay. Does that work
Every
the
car
same?
Coming in both lanes of lot one is captured.
Huh. I mean,
Then there's also an overhead camera in the archway. You can
Yeah.
Drive under.
yeah. Okay.
Yes, those have been in place for over many years.
Okay. But there's nothing tied in with it that's automatic, like a high level of information technology where it captured that picture and that may be a license that's wanted, I'll say.
No,
Is that do you know, is that an option?
it is an option to put a camera in, such as that actually scans the plate and then searches for wanted
Yeah.
cars. I did talk to IT about that earlier in the year, and they were supposed to put a test product camera in Washington Park this spring. I have not been notified that it's been installed yet. So currently the cameras we have don't have that
Yeah.
technology. but,
Okay.
IT is looking into it, definitely.
So is that IT, that's the department in Michigan City?
The city's IT department, yes, they have their own.
Okay. I think we should really get on that, because I think if we do that and signage
Yeah. I
down there that says every plate, for the safety of our guests, every plate is checked and scanned and let them know, you know.
So when I
Just an idea.
It actually did facial recognition as well.
Wow.
So that's what they were looking at. Again, this was a test site.
Yeah.
It was Washington Park, so high traffic, it's perfect place. in the city to
Right.
test this product.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll follow up. with
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And real quick, Shannon, I haven't had a chance to see any of the flock system and the cameras that the police had. Is there one of those in Washington Park?
Oh.
Okay, because I didn't get a map of where they are. I see them around the city in different places, but I haven't seen them down there. And I'm wondering, we do.
And maybe that's the camera that IT talking to me about.
Okay,
And which one are you talking about?
this is the flock system that we purchased for our police.
Maybe it's part of that. The way they explained it though, is this is a test product. They're looking for a high traffic site. So they asked about Washington Park. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely, but let
Yeah.
me know when it's installed.
Yeah, for sure.
So the way it works is if there's like gunshot, it triggers these things to start taking pictures of all the cars and license plate, identify that way. It doesn't
Yeah.
identify facial recognition or anything like that. It doesn't catch people for speeding or anything like that. It just starts to pick up characteristics of the cars, the license plate. You can see stickers on bumpers and anything like that. So if someone were to do something and somebody said, "Hey, I saw," just use my car for example, white Kia, with the BDAB license plate. I mean, everybody would know whose car that is, but it can be put into the system for the police, and this flock system starts to go around the city, and whenever they come past any of those others, if they flag that description, it'll let them know where that car is.
That's interesting.
It ties all the way into ones in Chicago and South Bend. It goes quite a distance. So I was just wondering if those were down there. If we had one down there, I would think that would be a perfect place to put one.
And those are already placed
Those are
in Michigan City?
they're up around the city. Yes.
Huh.
I'll give you a picture, and now you'll know. If I show you the picture of it, then you'll notice that you ride right past them right now. You don't even know they're there. Yeah.
Huh.
I'll follow up with IT and see specifically what they are looking to install, and also see can we get one of these put in down.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you.
I'm gonna drop by there.
Is there a possibility of paying police overtime to work?
It's a big budget.
I know it's expensive, but I think it's worth the investment to allay people's fears. In the evenings. That's something we can look into.
I think I've heard that the police are working overtime because they make sure that every position is filled at every shift.
So last year, I mean, it's a great point. We met with the chief at that time and asked him that question because they're budgeted for like 81 officers and they only had 60 some. So we said, why can't they use that money towards, that's a whole nother story. But we were talking about the overtime, about, them working overtime and getting overtime pay. And he said that this was at that time. Now we have a different chief, but they were so stressed and overworked already that no one was interested in that kind of overtime. The kind of overtime they're interested in is doing weddings and, things that are kind of easy, low stress, which I can't blame him. I'm not judging. I'm just saying what he said. But maybe with a new chief, maybe that's something that we could look into, along with maybe having specific ones for the park that are, yeah. So.
Ed, can you give us an update on the green superintendent search?
Sure.
Thank you.
The green superintendent that I discussed in the last meeting that has retired. I sent out a posting to fill his position, and I have received 4 resumes and applications. They're not beating the door down. I've looked at the pay scale for green superintendents throughout the region and throughout the United States. And for 18 holes, many green superintendents are making much better salaries. So it's very difficult to find people, I think, at the salary that we're offered. But I'll be taking applications until Friday.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the superintendent? All right, we'll move on to the liaison reports. I'm planning commission
think-
liaison, and there hasn't been a meeting since our last meeting, but there is one next week, which I plan to attend. Port Authority. Mr. Davis.
I was unable to attend the meeting this Monday. However, I was in contact with the treasurer, Mr. Ferguson, and he assured me in their 8-minute meeting there wasn't anything pertinent for us.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society, Mr. Glidden.
I attended their meeting on April 11th, and they spoke mostly about the brew at the zoo is coming up June 3rd, 5 p.m. $65, and tickets will be available online at Eventbrite. They're not already available; they'll be available soon. Their next meeting is in the second Tuesday in May.
Thank you. And that brings us to the attorney's report. This is-
Nothing to report. Glad to briefing.
You're welcome. Any director's reports tonight?
That's it.
Okay, then Department of Finances, back to Mr. Wood.
I have the claims docket for April 19th. Municipal, $203,755.65. Golf petty cash, $1,174.80. Total claims, $204,930.45. And I move that we pay these claims.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carries.
have the payroll number 7. The total payroll from 3/19 through 4/1. The pay date 4/6. The total payroll $72,737.66. I would move that we pay the payroll.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have the Department of Finances, gifts and donations, none, minor transfers, none, zoo endowment, none. Board of Works, invoices totaling $308.92 were paid at the 4/17/23 Board of Works meeting to Current Electric for zoo installation power to the new fence gate, $308.92. And there were no credit card charges.
We'll need a motion to approve the Board of Works bills, please.
I so moved.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you, Mr. Glidden. Any comments from the public tonight? Welcome.
My name is Michael Ducey. I'm at 205 Warren Road, which is not on the beach. I've lived here for 25 years. I've bought 4 homes. I'm a local investor. I've worked in manufacturing for 15 years in the county, manufacturing. I support businesses in the arts, community, volunteerism. I was wondering if the board, its attorney, and the councilman liaison has approached the police department about their plans to patrol the beach as the weather improves. The weather is indeed improving. What's the plan? Last year, I came to this board and wrote to my representative to ask if the police department was going to enforce our city's ordinances after I'd spoken with the police and the city attorney. Has the board attorney inquired with the city attorney about enforcing our ordinances on our beaches? Let me briefly review last year. May 14th, a crowd gathered and some people vandalized and littered. It caused great stress to our park department. I was there. I was there on Sunday morning. It's hard to watch. Many neighbors came to this board asking for help. No action was taken. 2 weeks later, we had a murder. Then the police started running ATMs up and down the beach and Colfax Avenue during the day, but not at night. These were overtime hours. This was both ineffective and grossly inefficient. I would remind the board that the police are seeking to receive an even bigger pay raise, which I understand the councilman will be supporting, even though we have a contract. Public safety local income tax increased by 50%, 50%. This was without a plan. Now it's being distributed, public safety. I'd like to ask the councilman, as well as our, in support of our park department, are we going to get 30% more public safety and police to support our parks? This is a very good idea, one that's been presented many times by our superintendent. One that actually was used many years ago. The superintendent at that time, and now once again, is asking for a basic beach patrol. On record, the councilman has rejected it. So I ask again, what's the plan? Our city is dependent on tourism. And I would remind you that tourism is the easiest dollars you can get in any community at any time. They come, they drop off money, they leave. What does this board and this council plan to do to support our park department, its employees, and to protect the public? I wanted to say that I'm not in favor of mass arrests or really any disruption of partying that goes on at the beach. I'm only requesting for our neighborhood, our visitors, our park employees, that a plan be formulated, reviewed, and executed. Thank you.
Mr. Ducey, we appreciate and share your concerns with beach safety, and I'll open this up to anyone else that wants to comment, but your statement that we did nothing couldn't be more false. There were numerous examples of actions taken to try to stem the vandalism and the hoodlism going down the beach. And I know there have been many meetings to try to spearhead that for this season, but I open it up as well to anyone else.
Mr. Corley addressed us, and questions were asked about what powers or what can the park department and our employees do as far as vandalism or rowdiness, anything such as that. And we can ask them to stop. The police are the ones that have to do it. And I think, Mr. Dabney, didn't you meet with that group of people after our meeting?
Yes.
And continue to meet with them. So as far as the board, the council goes, I think Mr. Dabney's trying to work with those citizens that showed up here anyhow. Brian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do actually. Real quick, what was that percentage when you said the local income tax? What was the percentage that you gave in regards to us raising local income taxes?
So it's widely known that it's been misreported that the local income tax went from 0.9% to 1.5%. That would make it seem that the local income tax went up by 0.5%. That is, of course, incorrect math. 1.45 minus 0.95 divided by 0.95 is 52%.
52%. Well, yeah, it was a 0.5% raise in the local income tax, which raised $4.3 million, which is, yes, we were told we're going to get next year. And yes, there are negotiations that were happening behind you as you sit regarding, I'll just say negotiations with police and fire, talking about salary, and we use some of that money to buy equipment in the city as well. And yes, we have had conversations with the police chief, and they assure us that they're trying to do what they can to watch every part of the city. I know you have a concentration on the beach area. Maybe you believe that one person can just sit at the beach, but I know that they have to watch out for the rest of the city. And so they have 60 officers on duty, 68 or 69. They're actually budgeted for 84. And so what's happening with these negotiations is to try to be able to recruit more officers into the city so he can place maybe more officers in other places around the city, but the whole city has to be covered at all times. So I understand your concern And I have those same concerns, and I don't know what you mean by I rejected security. That one baffles me because I've never rejected any security. So that one right there, I'm just going to flat out lie. I don't know about what you mean about rejected security. I know you talked about bringing in maybe retired officers or something like that before. I don't know how that would work with the city. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to look into that. Will they be deputized? Will they be able to arrest and do other things of that sort? I don't know that. So these concerns are not only your concerns, they're the concerns that I have with the people out here in Sheridan Beach, the people with the Canada Neighbors Group, and we discuss these issues, and these concerns are taken back to the police department. And we've changed over chiefs here. I can readily admit I had more of an open communication with Chief Dion Campbell than Forker, but we're developing that same type of rapport where we're talking to each other on a regular basis. So those are the things that are going on. Not that I can spill out the exact plans of what the chief is trying to do at this point, but it is being looked at. Everybody's concerned, not only you. And to come here and say like we've done nothing is false. And most council people will sit and take it. I'm cut out of a different cloth. When you come and say things that don't apply to me, or you make statements that aren't correct about me, I'm going to come back at you. It's that simple. I'm not going to take it. So the things that you said and you had to say, I'm going to can them as false. There are people that are concentrating on these issues and trying to do what is best for the residents of Michigan City.
Thank you, Brian.
Another comment, boat owners, and being a liaison to the Port Authority, I go to all their meetings. Last year, in force, they came out and expressed their disappointment in the security that takes place at the harbor. And we're talking about millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment. And Mr. Hynek, Andy Hynek, from the Sheriff's Department, also is a boat owner. And he was there, again, to express his concern. And they asked him how come the Port Authority doesn't hire a security agency, and they do. And Mr. Hynek reported the same thing that Mr. Corley told us. They do not have arresting powers. The only thing they can do is walk around and look like they're dangerous with their sidearms. As far as enforcing any law, they really can't. Maybe detain the person and call the police department. So it's a mess. And it's been addressed by not only us, but also the Port Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Any other board comment? Questions? I've seen our next park board meeting is Wednesday, May 3rd, right here at 5 o'clock. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Didn't have a next one meeting.